Hey ladies, this is my first video for 2019, so Happy New Year. It's quite random actually. I've just literally sat down, got the camera out in front of me and decided to make a quick video because I've been going through my DMs and a lot of you have been asking me, Candy, where have you been? What's going on with your single mum news and views? Where are your motivational videos? So I thought, let me just sit down and do something really quickly. A lot of you have also sent me DMs about a story that I posted on my Instagram page about the Money Supermarket co-founder Richard Mason, who was diagnosed with having cystic fibrosis and told that due to his illness he had actually been infertile since birth, hitting him with such a cruel blow that he could not possibly be the father of the 3 children that he had with his ex-wife Kate, who actually admitted to cheating on him during their marriage. Now, DNA tests were taken and it was confirmed that Richard Mason was not the father to those 3 boys. So one of the children, Joel, has spoken out and he said that he has no desire to finding out who his real father is, and he has not fallen out with his mother over the situation. He told the Mail Online he hasn't asked his mum who his dad really is, and he said that he's sure his mum would tell him, but he just doesn't want to know. Now, Joel, who hasn't spoken to his father in 3 years, described Richard Mason as manipulative and someone who loves attention, although insisted they were not estranged. Joel can't comprehend why Richard is desperate to find out who their real dad is and even offering a reward for information when the 3 boys aren't interested. Meanwhile, Richard has appeared on Good Morning Britain and made an emotional plea to his children. He said, "Boys, I haven't done anything wrong at all. I love you and my door's always open. I've got the kettle waiting to go on, a 6-pack of beer. Just come round. You'll get the biggest hug ever. Let's have a cry. Let's just hug. Let's get back to where we were before. And just have a word with your mum. Tell her to stop being so daft." He also confessed that he wanted to get a hammer to confront her after the betrayal was revealed. As he held back tears and struggled to speak, he said, "When something like this happens to you, you suddenly feel this betrayal, this bitterness, and sort of anger that you can't explain. I'm still there, Dad. Felt like on one hand, I've just been told I've had a terminal illness, and on the other, finding out the boys weren't mine was just very, very hard." Heartbroken Richard almost took his own life after discovering he wasn't the biological father of the children. Now, Richard is planning to write a book about his traumatic ordeal and plans to litter it with clues as to the identity of his ex's lover. Now, Richard's story came to light after he launched a legal bid to recover some of the £4 million divorce settlement that his ex-wife Katie was given. He actually took up a paternity fraud case, and Kate was ordered to pay back £250,000 of the 2-year legal case, which allowed her to keep the identity of the real father a secret. Now, here's my views on this. Richard has every right to be as upset as he likes. He has experienced the ultimate betrayal, and his boys are still so very young, 19, 23 years old. They don't have a clue about how he's feeling as a father and as a man who has sacrificed years of his life to raise them and spent money providing for them and the ex-wife, who got £4 million out of the divorce settlement, knowing that this man wasn't the father of her 3 children and she wasn't even entitled to that £4 million. So I think that her being made to pay back £250,000 is nothing, and in fact, because of her level of betrayal, she should be made to pay back the whole thing. Forget the fact that they were married, it was all a lie. This situation was bound to cause added stress to Richard Mason's illness. Now, moving on to the boys being upset that Richard decided to speak publicly about his experience and to write a book about it, well, why don't they actually acknowledge the fact that that is exactly what it is? It's his experience. And personally, with me writing my own book about my experiences with being abandoned pregnant twice and the hurt that I felt which came from it, I can relate to Richard wanting to share his story too. And I think that more of us should do this, not just to teach other people lessons that, you know, they can't treat people like this and get away with it, but to share our stories, because there are so many other people who can relate. There was a guy on my page the other day who commented on Richard Mason's story and said he always wondered if something like that had happened to him. So, and another thing is, I can understand why it took Richard Mason 2 years to be able to open up and speak about this. I really can understand, because it took me years to write my book. Sometimes you feel so ashamed and humiliated. Now, the one thing I don't agree on with Richard is him finding those boys' real father. I mean, by all means, tell your story and share how you feel to the world, but leave that discovery of the father's identity for the boy's mother to deal with. Because believe me, that woman, Kate, knows who her son's biological father is, and those boys possibly know too. And at 3 months old, I was raised by my mum and my youngest brother's dad, who never wanted me to find out that I wasn't his real daughter, because he loved me that much. And to be honest, I kind of wish sometimes that my mum didn't tell me, but she had to, isn't it? But sometimes I think emotionally I would have been so much better off never knowing that he wasn't my dad, because it just literally ripped my whole life apart, and I kind of had identity issues for a while. Richard needs to be smart when it comes to bringing a man he doesn't know into his boys' lives, because although this man is the boy's biological father, he is still a stranger, and some people are so badly damaged you don't even know what else he comes with. For example, he might come with loads of other kids who might not like their half-brothers, or who are jealous of them because their father's a millionaire, or who plot against them. When you don't grow up together and you haven't bonded, it's just not the same. So Richard, don't put those boys in that situation, because it's not worth it. If you see this video, I understand that your heart is broken. You definitely did not deserve this, and your ex-wife is what I think, she's just straight evil. I know you think that you're doing the right thing by helping the boys discover who their biological father is, but you're not. You're not. You will end up hurting those boys even more. I know you may want to find out the identity of your ex-wife's lover for your own reasons, and maybe to even humiliate him too, and, you know, get him in trouble with his wife. But believe me, it won't help the situation. Those 3 boys love you, and yes, they must be fuming at you because you've exposed their mother after 2 years of knowing you weren't their father. But they need to understand your position, so it would be good if you all went to counselling to communicate over what's happened. Try to be a father to them again. Don't mention the other man. It's an insult to them when they deep down know that they want you and they need you, not him. Also, please remember that these boys love their mother, so naturally they will be protective of her no matter what she's done. So while you may feel at this point, you know, you might just feel resentment towards her, disappointment, anger, humiliation, betrayal, and so much more, I get that you wanted your ex-wife to face that same feeling that you were feeling. She created that in you, and no doubt it's affected your health too. But it's going to take a long time, if not never, for you to get over. But if there's one thing that I've learned for myself, it's that DNA doesn't mean anything. DNA doesn't mean shit. In fact, DNA is seriously overrated. Don't give away 5 grand of your money as a reward to finding this guy, because it's going to be a waste. Buy things for your 3 sons with that money instead, and try to begin to make amends or donate it to children who have cystic fibrosis, or kids who are growing up without their dads. I think that's what you should do, Richard Mason, with that 5 grand. Okay, thanks for watching, ladies, and more single mom news and my views coming up tomorrow on a proper video, but I just wanted to touch on this. I also want to say I hope that everybody involved in that situation will heal from it. I know 2 years is no time at all when you've raised kids for over 20 years and to then discover that they are not yours. So lots of love and healing out to Richard Mason. All right, ladies, I've really got to go now, but I'll be back tomorrow with more single mom news and views. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.